Welcome back. My name is Casero Juan and I'm working on a game called run&gun. I wanted to talk about how it started the game. I already have a first blog, so I wanted to continue this series. And I want to show you the first image that started all. I'm showing you right now, I hope they're there. It's about a nun holding a rifle with a duck. Strange image. I don't know the artist who the artist is, but it really inspired me. Suddenly I saw that image and I thought that could be cool, a game about a nun fighting with demons. Strange, but it suddenly started that in my mind, like Doom 2, but with a nun. Sounds really creepy, I know, but interesting at the same time. So I was thinking about that for a little while, less than a week, a few days maybe, and I decided to start a first test. I don't know if I would call that minimum viable product, because I'm not sure if that qualifies as that, but I wanted to put everything in place and see how if it was as good as in my mind was. So I started and I made this. This was my original inspiration. Obviously, I'm not the creator of the assets I bought in the marketplace, but this was the first idea, a big demon that emulates that Castlevania big bosses fights, a huge boss that make you look weak, small, but still you have guns. And small enemies around the same size, so it was a simple mechanic jumping, and I realized a lot of things about this with this little test. First of all, it was not enough, but it was look cool as it was in my mind. There are many other things that I tried here. For example, it was the dark sky, so it will have a darker look, and many platforms too, and the idea that how it looks, this idea in 3D, because it's going to be a 2.5D game, but it looks really cool. In my mind I could imagine the demon shooting lasers, flames, explosions around, and things like that. I don't know what game does, but Castlevania is one of them, Metroid, many of the old school games have those big bosses. Contra, it was Contra one of my main inspirations. I always wanted to make games like Contra, so I don't know if this is my dream game, because I have many dream games, but it's one of them for sure. So after that it passed a lot of time. I didn't start the blog from that time because I'm quite slow programming and things like that, and I like to make the programming first, so I have more to show. I don't know, no, it's not to show, but more to... The easy part comes after. It was not that easy, then I realized, but still it's easier than programming because the bugs are a killing time machine. Well, time passes and I try to restructure all in my head. Even that Unreal has a nice character, like moves. It does all but itself. It moves, it can fly, it can make many things, but there are things you have to implement sometimes, like double jump. It's not that difficult because it has some internal things to help you, but things like you can jump on enemies or you can slide on walls, there are things that you have to do by yourself. Again, it's not that difficult, but you have to try it, because when you try it you realize that there are many bugs in the way you say the things to the computer. So I did this demo. I worked on this demo for a while. It was not easy for me. So here I try many ideas. How you were pushed by damage. It lacks the effects to look cool that you receive damage, but still the main part for me, the difficult part, is that impulse that came from the damage to be used everywhere. The double jump mechanic, it was like not difficult, but at the beginning I didn't know where to find information about, but with time it was really easy. After that, jump over enemies comes. I don't know if I'm going to implement this because it gave me some problems in certain parts where there are lots of enemies and it's really confusing. In parts where they are far apart like this, it's easy to control the nun, and it makes me a vibe like Mega Man. Like you don't have to kill the enemies because you can't pass that part, so you have to jump over them, and it was nice. I don't know if I'm going to implement that in the end, but it's still on the table because it's already programmed here. You can notice too that I made a component that makes enemies. No, it's a health managed component, so everybody has that. Most of the items, most of the enemies, and it has inside those functionalities that made enemies glow red when they receive damage. It was implemented even in a way that, depending the type of damage, it could change another color or give another effect. For example, in my mind it was, if you get poison damage, you must change your color to green, not to red, and maybe split some acid particles or something, some green liquid, something like that. But it's still there. I'm noticing that now, because when you receive fire damage, it's strange that it split a lot of blood. I will try to fix it later. This one comes the jump to the backgrounds idea. You already may be thinking about that, where it comes. The first time I saw that was in games like, it was not to the background, but Shinobi has that idea that you can go up and down. It were like different layers of level. Shadow, what? The ninja with the dog? How it's called that? Let me search. Shadow Dancer. I remember, thanks to Google. That one was awesome too, and many others. I remember one that it was in the space, and you can change gravity, switch gravity to go through, walk on roof and later on floors, things like that. Other game that like that is what's called Fatal Fury, that has that 2 layers. It could be nice to have one layer that you have to pass and many enemies from behind are launching something, then you jump back and kill those enemies. That would be really satisfying. That was the main goal of this mechanic. I haven't implemented that in level 1, but it's programmed in there in the code of run&gun. Now I have a main problem with that. If you receive for some reason damage in the middle, it falls in some strange places. I don't know how to handle that. Maybe making immune or not transparent to bullets. Like nobody can hit you when you're doing that. Maybe that could be a solution, but I'm still thinking about that, because this could be a really nice and advanced as something that could make my games shine. This was a really headache for me. As you could look, it has no animation of climbing the wall yet, but the wall slide, I always loved that from Mega Man. I copied that from Mega Man. There are many games, but I like the idea to be sliding in a wall and shooting to the other side. It was not implemented yet in this part. I want to emulate the helicopter battle in Contra 3. You remember, you were hanging up with missiles and jump up and down trying to avoid bullets. It was awesome. I want to emulate that. Oh no, it was another one too. The one that you fight in the end with a demon that it's flying against you and stomping on the wall. That was awesome too. I want to emulate that. But Contra mechanics, you were hanging and you're still there. But here you're always falling like Mega Man. I don't know how easy or hard will be to the player. That I have to test it. I have many friends that help me to test my game. I have nothing but big thanks to them, because they have a lot of patience to me. Sometimes they get angry because they seem to think that I'm taking too long to make this game. It's really difficult. It's really difficult making time for this and thinking about solution. Maybe that's for another video. I want to point that the NAND could go in the back layer and maybe be covered by something. I don't know if that's good or bad. It feels good here in the demonstration, but it will be really not fun experience to be here while you're not seeing. I tried to make it like a silhouette like other games, like to show you you're in the background, but it looks really crappy. I don't like that idea. Here's my to-do list. Show enemies and damage amount. Castlevania effect. Like they show the numbers on your head. It's fun to know how much damage you do for certain weapons, but I don't know if I'm going to implement that either, because it works in Castlevania, but not in Contra, because the reason for that number is to show you are more powerful over time, but in Contra you're always max power. All depends on the weapon you are holding, but weapons are not too overpowered compared one to another. They have more specific use in certain situations. So that was my initial idea, and it resulted really well. I really like playing with this. I think this could be the minimal viable product. It was fun even if she doesn't shoot yet. But I don't know what you think. It was all I have for now, but sorry for my not correct English. I'm trying to do my best. If you want to correct me, please go ahead. If you like this content, please like and subscribe. I'm more than welcome to answer all your questions if you have about this game. I'm a new guy from Bolivia trying to make something, a dream come true, because what I really want is to make a game that likes everybody and make money, obviously. I want to live from this. I want to live for me. I want this give me money to live, because right now I have to work on this and do many extra works to survive. It was fun. It's a nice experience. This is my first great game for Steam. I always made small games for mobiles, and they're already dead because YouTube upgrades their libraries constantly, and it's quite difficult to upgrade them for me in Unreal at least. So, nothing else to say for now. I hope you like this content, and I will show you more in the future how it goes, how the game goes. This was not the best interesting video, but this was the story about how it all started and how the minimal product could be a pain in the butt. But you need it. You need it to see if it's going to be fun. I perceive the movements is fun in these early demos. I hope to show you how it ends in the image and how it started here. I will tell you more about this in the future. I hope you're eager to know more about my game. And if you want to try it, please go to Steam page and search for run&gun. There's my game, and if you like it, please wishlist. Follow me and like me again if you like this. Se despide. Sorry, it was Spanish. Goodbye, friends. My name is Casero Juan.